Hello friends, so in this video I'm going to show you how to build an app script project locally, and I'm going to use TypeScript to build this project. Okay, so it's a little bit different comparing how we did our project online. Okay, basically we have a remote environment which is in your browser, and right now we are going to build our project locally on your computer. Okay, so let's open the terminal here. Okay, this is terminal. First of all, we need to have a Note installed. Make sure Note is installed on your computer. Okay, so that's the only thing you need to do for now. So after you install Note on your computer, we can first we need to make a project folder for on our computer. So here right now I am in this guest folder, and I'm going to make a folder called let's say live coding 005. Okay, and I'm going to get into this folder, and I will use VS Code to do this demonstration. So let's open this folder with VS Code. And we can close this terminal. So VS Code has a integrated terminal. So if we go to View and the Terminal, you're going to open the integrated terminal for you. So basically it's the same thing. Okay, here right now we don't have any files in this folder. And first of all, let's install some package we are going to use. Okay. Sorry, not install the package right now. We need to initialize a project. So with npm init to initialize a node project. And for the package name, I'd like to leave it as LC005. For the version, for the description, let's say project, app script project. Built with TypeScript. Index file, not a big issue. And the keyword, let's say app script, TypeScript, Google, and that clasp. Author, to your name here. And license, let's change it to MIT. Yes. So after we initialize the project, we have a package.json file here. Which includes all the information you just entered here. So if you did something wrong, you can change it here directly. And for this script, this test script, we don't need it here. We can remove it. Okay. So let's install the package we're going to use. So the first one, let's clear the terminal. The first one is called Google Clasp. Okay, so this is a tool we're going to use. So npm install -d and add Google Clasp. So this we're going to install this package, okay, to into our project, and then you can install it globally, okay, by changing this -d to -g. Going to need a while to install the package. All right. And in the meantime, let me show you. You should have a documentation here. So this is the GitHub repository for Google Clasp. Here you can find the instruction to install it. Okay. Here, no, this is how you install it globally, okay, with a -g. And the second step here, you need to enable this by clicking on this link. Okay, you need to enable this toggle. Okay, let me show you if the install is done. Okay, after we installed this package, as you can see here, in this dev dependencies, here we have the Google Clasp here, and here is a revision. All right, so that means this setup is done. And here in the settings, make sure this Google Apps Script APIs is enabled. Okay. And after we install it, we can try it here. So maybe we can check if. So for you, if you use Clasp here, the Clasp dash version. So if you can access this version, that means this has been installed successfully. So if you see some message like this command is not found, that means it's not installed. Okay. So let's clear it. First of all, you need to log in. Okay. So Clasp login. So to check the login status, you can use a login dash status to check if you are already logged in or not. Okay, for me, let me check. I don't know if I think I already logged in. Okay, as you can see, if you see a message like this, that means you're already logged in. So let me log out. So to show you what it looks like. Okay, now I am logged out, and if I try to Clasp, let's clear Clasp login. It should open the terminal. Sorry, not the terminal, the browser. So, and you need to sign in with your Google account. Okay, it's very similar like what we are doing for the App Script project authorization. Okay, so basically these two are going to use all of this access and allow them. And if you see a message like this, that means now you are logged in. Okay, let's close this page. And right now we are logged in and authorization successfully. So that means the login process is done. And let me show you how to create a project here with Clasp. Okay, we can use Clasp create, and let's add a dash help to see what kind of options we can use in this command. As you can see here, for this Clasp create, we can have a type. For the type, you can have a document type, document, spreadsheet, and presentation is Google Slide, and the form and the standalone. So things like this. And for the title, basically this is the file name, okay, and the parent ID. So we're going to use Clasp create. So let's give it a title here. Let's say LC005 for short. And I didn't specify the type here. So we'll see what's going on. So you can select, okay. Let's say spreadsheet here for sheets. And enter. So this we're going to create a file on your Google Drive, okay. And we'll see what kind of files will be added here in this file browser here. So this is the link to the new file just created, and then we have a new file here which is called .clasp.json here is created, and this is the script ID. Okay, basically is this ID here, as you can see. So if you click on this link, it brings you to the script project, and if you click on this this link, it should open the Google Sheet for you. Okay. So this is how to create a new file from locally on your computer. So let's clear this a little bit. And we have built the project here, but right now we don't have any code here. We have two new files here. So as you can see here, we have an appscript.json file, and by default this file is hidden in the project. So if you cannot see it, you go to the settings, project settings, and you need to check on this. Show appscript.json manifest file in the editor. And if we now go back to the script editor, you should be able to see this file. Okay, so this is actually the same file. We just we see it here. So if the time zone is not correct for you, you can change it. So for me, it's Asia, Shanghai. So we can change it here. So after we did this change, how can we push this data to the remote project? So we use a command called class push. So basically, this command is going to push all this change to the remote project. So let's do it right now. And you need to be familiar with this command if you're trying to develop your project locally, okay? So they're just very similar to GitHub, to Git command, okay? You have a git push, git pull. So basically, the convention is very similar. So because I changed the manifest file, I changed the time zone. So yes, I need to replace it and overwrite it. And if I check my file, online file, and reload this page, I should have this America, New York updated. Okay, so let me show you another command. So if I did some change here in this remote environment, okay, so let's say we add an index script here, and we add a function here called demo and console.log demo. Okay, so how can we update this? How can we get this data to our local environment? We use a command called class pull. Okay, this is going to pull the data from the remote project to your local project. Okay, these are the basic command you need to know. Okay, you need to remember. Okay, push and pull and create. All right, it's easy to remember, I think. And if I check, we have a new file called index.js, and if you check, we have a function here. And if you notice that the file extension is changed, because for our online project here is the file extension is .gs, and here is JS for JavaScript. Okay, so if we do some change here, then console log changes from local, and we can push this to the remote project by using this command. Okay, so this is how you can communicate between your remote or online project and your local environment. Okay. The speed of this is dependent on your network speed, I think. Okay, so let's clear this, and if I reload this page, I should have the change here. Right? So changes from local. Okay, so this is a very quick demo to how to use Clasp. And in this project, we're going to use another tool called Typescript, and we're going to use Typescript to build our project. All right, to use Typescript, we need to install another package. Okay, so first of all, let's npm install -d. Let's say we need to install the types. And the types is the types /Google apps script. As you can see here, we have this installed. After we did this, if I go to the file and if I try to use spreadsheet, as you can see, we get all of this information. It is almost the same. If you are trying to use online editor, if you put a spreadsheet up, you see you can have you can have access to all of these functions or properties or types like this. Okay, because you cannot remember everything in this API, so that's why in this here, if we don't have this kind of information and you cannot remember them, it will be very difficult to develop things like this. Okay, so that's something. And after we did this, let me show you how to change this to a TypeScript file. So let me change the file extension here. Let's rename it to TS, and right now it's changed to TypeScript. Okay. And if we are trying to use this as TypeScript, so let's see what we're going to be if we use TypeScript here, and let's push this TypeScript to online project. So let's say we have this function called demo, and this function going to return, let's say going to return something like return what? Return nothing. So return void. So this is a syntax for TypeScript. In JavaScript, you don't have things like this, okay? And let me show you. Let's console log. This is from TypeScript. And let's do a variable here. Let's say name as string. And let's give the value, give my name here. And then let's add the, just want to show you what the difference, okay? So let's add the template string here, and let's put my name here. So this is the name. Let's say hi name, and this is from TypeScript. So let's try to push this to the remote project. So class push, and because this file is TypeScript, so basically we cannot use TypeScript in our project, but this clasp tool, we're going to compile this TypeScript into JavaScript and push them online. So the online script you will see is a little bit different from this script you see here, okay? So I will show you the result. If I reload this page, I should have a file called index.js. The file name is not changed. It's not changed, but the content here is a little bit different. If you can see, let me show you. So let's zoom in a little bit. So as you can see here, we have a comment here called compiled using TypeScript. And the code here is a little bit different. As you can see, we have a local here, we have a const name, and the name is a string. And here, it was compiled to this, okay? And here, this log here, we are using the template string, and is what's changed here with this concatenate the function here to concatenate the strings. All right, so this is a little bit different. And of course, you can use JavaScript, of course, here. But in this demo, I'd like to show you how to use TypeScript. All right, so let's say some tasks we need to do in this project. Okay, so basically we need to send an email. All right, send an email from this spreadsheet, and then we need to collect some information from the user. Okay, by adding a email address or something like that, subject, something like that. So first of all, let's build the function to send an email. Okay, so to do that, I'd like to here I'd like to create a folder. So basically here you can have folder, but in our online project, you cannot have any folders, right? But locally we can have folder. So let's create a folder called, let's name it Typescript. So in this folder is going to contain all our Typescript files, okay? And let's move this index.ts to this folder. So basically this here, we're going to have a function to send the email, right? Send email. And this function will not return anything, so that's void. Okay, so here is the function to be done, to send the email, right? And here we need to collect the email address, and we need to collect subject and message, or maybe collect name. And we also need to collect a message to this person, okay? So this is the thing we need to collect basically, and after we got all of this information, so we are going to have a message. I'm going to be email address, email. So let's say email is a string, right? Of course, it's a string, and I'm going to get it from get it from the end users, from the user interface. Right now, let's put a string, empty string here. I'm going to update later. So this is a string, and this is for the subject. Just define the items we're going to use, okay? And here, let's just put an empty string here for now, and the name. Let's add a name here, and this is the message. Let's say a message here. Okay, so this is the variables we're going to use. And finally, I'm going to send the email here. All right. And just give you a demo here. So right now we have this function, but I'd like to build a small library to send emails. So let's do another file. Just a quick demo to separate files. We don't want to put everything in one single file, so that's why we are trying to separate files. So here, let's rename it to Gmail, or say Mail Pro. Okay, looks like a library, and TS. So in this file, we're going to handle all the stuff related to sending email. Okay, so let's give it a namespace. So this is TypeScript. So name Mail Pro. So basically, this is a namespace for. We're going to have some functions here to send emails. Okay. But first of all, let's have export function to export function send email. And here, for this send email function, I'm going to take a parameter. So let's call this is object with email data, okay? And let's define this email data type. Okay, we can use, let's say, export interface email data. So for this email data, I'm going to have something. Okay, we're going to have a subject as string, and I'm going to have receipt as string, and we're going to have a body, so that for email body as a string, and I'm going to have options. So this one is a little bit different. So this one is an object, but we're going to use Google Apps Script Gmail Advanced Options. So as you can see that this is a little bit different right now. Looks like a little bit different comparing to how we do JavaScript. So we have this kind of all this interface, a namespace. They are basically TypeScript, not JavaScript. Okay, so you cannot have this in JavaScript. And here for this email type, I'm going to use the email data. Okay, so this is the email data. And here we can send email with Gmail app API. Send email. So we're going to take a receipt. So if I try to use this data, email data, and put a dot here, I have a receipt, right? And the email data dot second parameter, which is the subject, and put a subject here, and the email data dot and which is the body, and the email data dot options. So basically put all these parameters and then make data type like this. And we can make this optional, okay, by putting a question mark here. All right, so this is function to send the email, but we need to get the email data. And after we did this, go back to our index file. So we can const data structure or data email data. And the type will be mail pool email data. Okay, so it's an object, and in this object we can have the subject, right? The subject is equal to, and you can do things like this. You can just add empty object here, and let's email data dot subject is equal to subject, and the email data dot the receipt is, so this receipt basically is this email, okay, and the email data next one is a body. The order is not a big issue, so it's equal to the body. So this is the body from, where is the body? The body is the message, okay. The body actually is not the message. The body is not created yet. We're going to create a body. So let's say the body is the, so right now let's just put the message here right now. I will change it later. So email data options, which is not defined here. So options, let's define option here. So options equal to, the type for this option will be Google Apps Script Gmail Advanced Options, okay, which is an object and which is not defined. All right, something wrong here. Is missing the following properties: email data subject receipt. We have subject receipt body. Okay, something is wrong. Let's put it like this. Not sure if it's working. No. Email data object type is missing. Email subject receipt. That's weird. Maybe I need to add it like this. So let me try it right now. Subject is subject, and receipt is email. Body is the message. Right now I didn't get the error right now. So because we did an option here, which is optional, as you can see, I have a question mark, so you can add it here. So this is the options, and then you put a comma here. So now we have our email data here, and we can call this mailpro.send email to send the email data. Okay, so this we're going to send an email. Okay, so this is this part to send email. So I'd like to add another small class to functions to get the input from the users, right? So let's add a new file. Let's call it maybe uipro.ts. So here we have a namespace. It's called uipro here. So here I'm going to create a class here, export class UI. So you can export a class, and in this example we are exporting a function called send email. Okay, so here I have a UI here. So for this UI we're going to have a name string, and we're going to have a UI which is going to be Google Apps Script base UI. Okay, have two properties, and here I'm going to use a construct function to we're going to take a name here, and I'm going to take a UI which is this one, and this dot name equal to name, this dot UI is equal to UI. And here we can define some functions for this class, and we need to get the input from the end users, right? We can define a function called input. Okay, this is going to be a function, and we're going to take a parameter called message. Going to be a string, and we can return. So here this function is going to return a response. The type for the response we're going to Google Apps Script, Google Apps Script dot base response. Okay, prompt response. We're going to return this. So it's going to return this dot UI dot prompt. I think it's called prompt, and we'll input three parameters here. First one is the title and the message and the buttons. Okay, so let's try to add the title. The title is going to be the app name. Okay, so let's this dot name, and the title, the message is going to be the message. So this message here, and the buttons is going to be this dot UI dot button set. So we can use yes no or okay cancel. Let's try to choose the last one, yes no or cancel. Okay, so I'm going to return this. So this is the input. This is how to get the input from the end users. And let's add another function called alert. So basically we can send the alert to the end users. And here we also have a message and string, and this is going to return void. Nothing need to be returned. And in this function we're going to call this dot UI dot alert. Now with the title will be this dot name. And here maybe we need to add one more thing. The type. For this alert we can have a type. Okay, so let's define a type here. We're going to be a string. So basically success alert or something else. And even we can define something else. Let me show you and let me define interface here. So export alert type. So let's say interface, not interface, in name. Let's say alert type. So we're going to have some alert type here. So we can have success. Okay. And we can have a failed. Not this one. Failed. and we can have warning, and we can have information. Okay, so success is equal to success, failed is equal to failed, and warning is warning, the info is info. So this is our alert types, and here in our alert function here, and I change this string to the type of alert type, and assign the default value to this alert type. Let's alert type dot, let's say warning. Okay, so here we can add a type here at the end of this title. So let's put the square bracket here. So in this square bracket is the type of this alert. Okay, so this is the title, and let's add the message to this. And finally, I'm going to add some buttons here. So UI this.ui.button set, and here we only need to have an OK button here because this is just an alert. So this is a function to do an alert, and we have a function to do an input. So let's get the information from the end users and go back to this index.ts file. So as you can see here, we have nothing here, and we'd like to collect the information from end users, right? So we can define app here or UI here. So const UI equal to new. So UI pro dot UI, and here you need to assign what is this one? The name. The name will be the app name, okay, which is not defined. I will define later. So this is the app name, and the second one is the UI spreadsheet. So here, because we are in the spreadsheet, so we need to use spreadsheet get UI. So this we're going to get the UI, and this is not defined. So let's define it here. Const app name is string equal to, let's say, LC004 or 05. So this is the app name, and here, so if you are in a Google document, if your project is a Google Doc project, you can use document app get UI. Okay, so this is for Google document. So that's why we'd like to build something like this. After we build this, and we can use it for different purpose. So here, let's change to spreadsheet app. So we get the UI, and this message we get it from. So we can use this function to UI.input, and we have a message. Please enter the email address. Right. So this is the message to this end user, and as a response, we can get the response text. Right. So this we're going to get the response text from the end user. So we just make a copy of this, and let's collect the subject. So email subject, and collect the name. Please enter the email name or the receipt name. And the last one is, please enter the email message. Okay, so this we're going to get all of this information from the end user. So after we get all of this information, we can send them to with an email. Okay, so we get everything. But here, for the email body, I'd like to use a HTML template to do it. Okay, so first of all, let's create this template. So here I create a new folder called, not in this folder, let's create a new folder called HTML. And in this folder, I'm going to add a new file called email.html. So here in this file, I'm going to design our template, email template here, okay? So let's just add a div here. And let's put a paragraph here. And dear, because we have a name, do you remember? We have a name here, so we can access the name. So this is the name we collect from the end user, right? So we add another paragraph here for the message, okay? Message. So we collect name, collect the message, and then you can have other stuff here. Let's say, let's give it a style. So that's why we like to use this template. We can add some styles here. Let's say font size. Let's change it to small, okay, and give it a color of maybe black. It's already black, so I changed a little bit gray. And let's say powered by Typescript. So this is the email body, okay, we're going to use. So you can customize your email a lot. You can add images here. You can add a lot of stuff here. So, and in this mail pro here, I'd like to add another function here to create email content, email body, okay. So I have to add another function here called function create HTML body from file. And this function is going to return a string. And I'm going to take a file name here also as string. So basically this function is going to create a HTML body from a file, okay. And we're going to take some data, which is an object. Because if you notice that in this template, we have a name property and a message property. We need to assign these values to this template, okay? So let me show you how to do it here. So in this function here, we have the file name and we have the data. So let's do a const template. So this template will be a type of HTML service. HTML, what is that? HTML OSVG. Google AppScript.html it will be HTML template, okay. And let's use the HTML service to create a template from file. So this file will going to be the file name, right? Right now it's email.html. So let's just, because this is a function, so we can use this file name added here. So this is going to create this template. And this template is an object, and we can assign this data object to this template. So to do that, so let's make this as a default value as an object. Maybe sometimes we don't need to assign any data in this template. So if we have any data here, we can add the object.keys, entries. So here, for this data object, we can, so for each items in this object, I'm going to get the key and values, okay? So key and value, and we're going to update the template to assign the key and the value. So basically, we are mapping the data object into this template object, okay? And finally, we're going to return the template.evaluate.getContent. So this function is going to create the template from a file. Okay, so after we did this, we go back to our index.ts file, and here we need to have so let's do another function here. So let's call const HTML body, which is the string, of course, and we can use this mail pro and create HTML from file, and the first parameter, which is a file name, so which is email.html. But this is not correct because we are in a folder, right? So this is a little bit weird. We can use HTML / like this. Okay, so this is the file name, and for the data, I'm going to take two parameters, if you remember, not parameters, two properties, which is the name and message. So the name is came from here, and the message is came from here. All right. So for these options, we need to add the HTML body. So let's add the HTML body here. So this is the option, right? So this is the body. So this is the message, and we got everything ready, and we should be able to send this email. Okay. So maybe one more thing here. Let me show you. Maybe we would like to get the email we just sent. Okay. So here we just sent the email, but we didn't return anything here. So let's just create a new function to return the email. Okay, we just sent. So let's create a function, export function. Let's say get send email by subject, and we're going to take subject as a parameter here. So subject we're going to be a string, and here, and this function we're going to return email thread. So Google App Script Gmail app, and Gmail thread, I think thread, Gmail thread. So this is the type we're going to return. Or so here we need to define a query. So the query will be, we're going to search the email in your inbox, in your sandbox. Okay, so it's in the send, right? And the subject, which is the subject here. Okay, so this is the query, and then we can get, so we can return the Gmail app search. We can search this with this query, and start from 0, and we only need to get 1. Okay. So this we're going to return a list of emails. Okay, as you can see here, this is array. So basically a list of Gmail thread. So we only need to get the first one. Okay, so let's return the first one we found. So this function we're going to get the email you send, okay, with the subject. So here, after we send this email, we can return get sent email by subject, and the subject will going to be email data dot subject. And here, this function, because it's going to return this Gmail, your sent Gmail. Okay, we can add a type here, Gmail thread. Okay, so this function right now can return the email just sent. All right, and go back to our index.ts file, and here we can const send email as Google. So the type will be Google, Gmail, and Gmail thread. And this function is going to return, if you check it right now, it's going to return the Gmail thread, right, with the email data. So email data passed here. And after we got this email, sent email, we can send alert to the end users, right? We can send. So with this UI, we can alert UI.alert. So this alert message, I'm going to take a message and alert type. Okay, so we can send your email has been sent successfully. Let's put a new line here, and you can check it out here. You can check it here. Check it here. Add a new line, and let's add the URL to that email. I'll send email get URL. So this is the message we are going to alert the end user. And for the type, let's say UI.alert type. Where is my alert type? Let me check. So in the UI, okay, UI Pro, in this here, we have this alert type. So let's go back to the index. For the type here, which is UI Pro dot alert type, and we have a success message to the end user. All right. So this is the function to send the email, and let's build a menu. So function open to build the menu. So spreadsheet.getUI, and let's create a menu. So the menu, we are going to take the name of the app, and let's add a menu here, add item here to send email, and to call this send email function, okay. And finally add it to the UI so we can see this menu. Okay, so right now I think I complete this small project very quickly with TypeScript. And if you check the online project here right now, nothing is here because all of this code are on my computer right now. So let's try to push all of them. So let's try to do a clasp push. So it's going to need a while to push all of them, I think. I hope there is no error there. And this is not a TypeScript course, okay? It's not a TypeScript tutorial. So if you don't know TypeScript, you may need time to find the tutorial to learn it first, okay? Just a quick demo for you and how to use it. And right now, all this code have been pushed to the project. Let me refresh this page. And so, as you can see here, for the files, so basically, if we have a folder, so let me close all of them. So if we have a folder, the folder and the file name are going to be combined with a /. So as you can see, ts/index.js. And for the HTML email, which is html/email.html. So this is a final file name after you push them to the remote project, okay? And I think we can try to run this function. So if you check the code here, which is totally different now, okay? But you can read it. If you check this function here, so basically all of these functions, they're isolated, okay? So you cannot access this function, but you can access the function by this namespace, okay? If you need to call this function, you need to use mail pro and then call this function like this. So if you go to the index file, where is so mail pro, send email. So things like that. And for this UI is also capsuled. So this is the very good demo, but right now we need to test the code. So if I refresh this page, I should have the menu created because we have this function here. called onOpen to create the menu. It's going to need a while. Okay, where is my menu? It's still loading. So we have two functions here, and the others in this kind of project, as you can see here, there is no function because they're capsuled or isolated, so you cannot see it here. All right, I think it's done now. And I have this menu and I have this send email. If I click on this button, so I need to do the authorization because this is the first time to run this function. And after I complete all of this, I should have a pop-up, I think, if everything works correctly. Allow. Is running. So let's dismiss it and try to do it again. Okay, so I have got this interface here, so I can enter the email address. So let's say I add an email address here, and let's click on yes. And please enter the subject. Let's say LC005 project with TypeScript. Yes. And the receipt name, let's say Mia, let's say what, Taylor. Okay, next message, say this is working, I guess. Okay, next. So after I enter all of this information, I got an alert like this, and I got a message, a link to that email I just sent. So if I go to this URL, I can see the message. Okay, and here the name is updated, and this is working. I guess it's working. So it's working fine, just fine. Okay. So maybe I can do some improvement here because here is a link. I need to copy it, but if I can click on this link, so it would be better if I can click on it. So let's fix this. And you also can do some customizations in your email. Okay, so let's say maybe we can add styles for this tag. Style, let's say maybe for the font size. That's font size. Font weight. Let's make it font weight. Make it bold. And color, let's make it not columns. Color, make it, what is this color? Cornflower blue. Cornflower, okay, cornflower blue. Okay, so just apply a simple style for this paragraph. And let's improve the UI a little bit. So how can we show the URL in this alert? We need to use something else. Let's say we can make another function. So let's say dialog, and we're going to take a message. Okay, so this message is going to be let's change it to HTML. Okay, so we're going to take a HTML content for this message. Okay, and that's it, I think. So, and here we can use this .ui. Not sure if it's UI.show. So we can show a dialog. Okay. And here I'm going to take a user interface. So user interface, user, that's a UI. And we're going to have a title. So for the title, I'm going to use the name, okay, app name for the title. So I'm going to create this UI by this HTML content here, and the const UI. This UI, for the type of this UI, going to be Google AppScript.html dot all this HTML. No. What the type of this? I cannot remember. So let's try it again. HTML output. That's weird. I cannot see it. So let's make a copy of this and put the UI here. So this is the type. It's going to be equal to HTML service.create HTML output from the content. The content will going to be HTML. Okay, so this one we're going to assign here. So here we can create a dialog like this, and let's improve this UI a little bit. So here, this alert, instead of using this alert, we can use a UI.dialog and take HTML content. Let's say HTML. So let's define this const as a string, and I'm going to use the HTML content here. So let's copy your message have been created, been sent. So let's put maybe a p tag here. So this is the message, and here we can give a link here for the message, for the email. So let's put the a tag here, and let's give the link. Let's put the link here. The link will going to be this one, right? Send email. So this is the link, and we need to give a target here for the blank. So this target. We're going to open a new tab in your browser, okay? And for the caption of this link, let's say this is the link, and let's copy this. You can check it here. You can check it by click on this link. Right, so now we sent a dialog message like this, and let me get rid of this. Something is wrong here. Cannot find the Mail Pro. I did something wrong here. Okay, after I saved it, the issue is fixed. So we replaced the alert with a dialog. So let's see what's the change. So let's do a class push to push the change, all the changes to the remote project. It's going to need a while, and pushing. Okay, it's done. So let's try to do this send email again. Okay, let's do this again. I think it's because we're using the HTML service API, so that's why it's asking for the authorization again. So this time, let's send. So here, as you can see, we have this input, but this is just for demo. So basically, for your project, maybe your email address is in this spreadsheet. So you don't need to do this. I just want to show you another way to do it. So email address, let's put my email address here. Yes. Email subject, LC005 project with type with TS test. Enter the receipt name. This time, let's say John. Email message. This is new or last test. So this time it's a little bit different, and the message not show up here. But after a while, because it's going to need time to render the HTML content. Okay, and here now I have a link here. If I click on this link, it's going to open the email for us directly. Okay, so just a little change and a little bit of user experience improvement. All right, and as you can see here, I applied these styles for the email, and the color is changed. So I think I need to stop here. I just want to take this small project to show you how to use, how to build a project locally with TypeScript and Google Clasp. Okay, with this kind of tools, you can build things very easily and locally, and especially for larger project, you have to use this kind of tools to build a large project, because if you're doing this, all of them online, it will going to be a mess, I think, because you cannot organize the code here. You cannot have folders. That's a big problem. Okay. And I think I'm going to stop here and see you in the next project. Bye bye.